Hi guys, I'm now at the Burma's showroom along Federal Highway, and I'm here, the purpose of my being here is to check out the new Mazda CX-30. Hi guys, so it's day 58 of MCO. Hope everybody is keeping well. And in today's video, I'm going to bring you another update from our industry. We got a news release from Mazda, and they are introducing a new variant of the CX-30. And yeah, so if you recall from our reviews earlier on, the CX-30 was launched in Malaysia with three variants. All right, there's the 2.0 base model, that's priced at 146,000 ringgit. There's a 2.0 high spec model priced at 164,000 ringgit, and there's also a 1.8 diesel. That's the same level of equipment as the 2.0 high spec, priced at 173,000 ringgit. Now, to date, I've only driven the petrol model, and my observations of the car is that was at that time handling was good. Overall driving dynamics, driving experience is typical of what you expect of recent vintage Mazda cars. Very smooth, very refined, very intuitive handling. The chassis, the engine, the transmission all react in very predictable fashion that makes the car very easy to drive, and very, I would say, very intuitive to drive enthusiastically. All right. Of course, there were a lot of comments about the price of this car, and now that is because the funny thing is the CX-30 is a smaller vehicle than the CX-5, but it's priced much higher. And of course, we can explain the fact that the fact that the CX-5 is locally assembled, CX-30 is fully imported, and also CX-30 is the latest gen technology, whereas the CX-5 is still one generation behind. Okay, so that sort of explains the pricing disparity. But if you look at it, right, the CX-30 is also based on the Mazda 3. Mechanically, it is almost identical to the Mazda 3. So if you compare spec for spec, the CX-30 versus the Mazda 3, then you realize, hey, actually, for a small top up over the Mazda 3, you move yourself into a higher segment vehicle. You move yourself into a crossover, okay, which has a sort of a higher perceived stature from onlookers. Okay, in that sense, the CX-30, I would say, becomes fantastic value. So the CX-30 is a rather interesting case. Depending on which perspective you look at it, it can be, you can see it as either a ridiculously overpriced smaller size crossover versus the CX-5, or you can look at it as a great value top up. All right, for a slight additional amount, you get a bigger car than the Mazda 3, but still have the same mechanical components. Thank you. Okay, so today they have Mazda has added a new variant, okay, to the CX-30 lineup, and it is a 2-liter petrol all-wheel drive model that has the same equipment as the 2.0 front-wheel drive high spec. They add all-wheel drive in. So you get the LED headlamps with the signature DRL. You get power tailgate, rear aircon vents. The multi-info display. Oh, but that's also there with the base model. Okay, driver electric seat adjustment for the driver with memory, and Mazda i-ActivSense. Okay, so you get auto braking, radar cruise control, all that. Okay, but It's basically the same stuff as you get in the 2.0 petrol high spec and also the 1.8 diesel high spec. Of course, if you compare it with the 2.0 petrol base model that me and Dana reviewed a few months back, this one is a big step up. Okay, but if you compare it with the existing high spec models, equipment levels is the same. It's just that there is a drive shaft to send extra traction to the rear, and this brings an interesting point. The CX-30 sits on rear torsion beam, so means that what happens is that so you have the what you call it, the trailing arm, the wheels here, then you have the torsion beam here. So the torsion beam will naturally have to be bent in the middle to accommodate the prop shaft going to the back. All right, which is I would say the question is why? Why do we need such a variant in our market? Because we are not. Because firstly, the worst conditions that we drive this car is rainy conditions, and in all honesty, the 2.0 Skyactiv engine it's a perky engine, but it's not an overwhelmingly powerful engine. You get 213 Newton meters from 4,000 RPM onwards. So this is not a car that it's not something that breaks traction easily. It's not something that when you turn a corner, you put power down and your wheels spin out. Okay, it won't unless it's very very slippery or your tires are short. Now, so the question is, okay, one, thank you. So therein lies the question: is this all-wheel drive variant actually necessary? Because because other than the all-wheel drive package, right? Everything else is the same as the 2.0 petrol front-wheel drive, but you pay 12,000 ringgit more. Okay, so yeah. So the thing is, do you need? I'm just puzzled. I'm just curious why Mazda thought it's necessary to launch this here in our market, because I would understand if all-wheel drive came with a diesel engine now, because that one, when you have the kind of torque that the diesel engine generates. Yes, okay, thank you. Thank you. You want that? Okay, now take lah. So when you have the kind of torque that the diesel engine generates, all-wheel drive makes a lot of sense. But with the petrol engine and the fact that the CX-30 is mostly going to be an urban use vehicle, I'd say all-wheel drive is not entirely necessary for the 2-liter model, save for very very specific utilization. Now the spec sheet actually mentions that with the all-wheel drive model, the traction control system also has off-road modes, which makes me wonder who buys a CX-30 and drives it in off-road condition anyways. So it's a very puzzling model for our market. Not sure if it's a strictly necessary addition, but I suppose it's a good option to have. Okay, I mean, but here's also the thing: there are still conservative SUV buyers that want their SUVs with all-wheel drive, but I don't imagine any of these type of SUV buyers looking at a CX-30, right? So I suppose the CX-30 is a product with its merits. I don't know. Maybe the driving dynamics of this all-wheel drive model is something else altogether. That's something that I'll need to examine in a test drive. But uh, I cannot imagine what would motive what how good can it be that you would be motivated to top up an extra 12k for the drivetrain. I mean, if you have more budget than 164,000 ringgit for the 2.0, consider the diesel instead. high torque, fantastic fuel consumption. Yeah. So yeah, so just sharing with you guys the new Mazda CX-30 2.0 all-wheel drive. All right, now on sale at 176,000 ringgit, and I'm leaving you guys now with a recap of my walk around when I first checked out the Mazda CX-30. So of course I'll be trimming down the essentials lah. So I'll just be trimming down parts that show you features of the car, and also the walk around and all that. Okay, so hopefully after MC is over, we have a chance to test drive this CX-30, and I'll then be able to let you then I'll have a better idea whether or not it justifies a 12k top up over the two-wheel drive 2-liter model. Okay, cheers.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Just now earlier when I walked in and I looked at the car, it looked from this angle almost like a dead ringer for the Mazda 3. Powered tailgate, nice. This is for the high spec models, of course. Okay, boot space here looks promising, very good enough to put a large suitcase or two cabin size suitcases. Definitely more than good enough for your grocery shopping. Maybe a bit of a squeeze if you've got a bulky pram. Okay, but can't argue against powered closing. Now we come to the back seats. Okay, the seats offer folding, and let me just drop this down. Okay, so pretty good. You've got a flat loading floor. Well, not perfectly flat, but good enough, and the gap here is covered, so things don't drop in there too easily. Okay, so there's some interference there between the headrest and the driver's seat, which you have to adjust a bit further forward. Armrest. Hey, they have dropped that once again here. They have dropped that practical armrest that we so loved from the CX-5. Isofix mounts here covered. It's a removable plastic cover for the Isofix mount. Okay, let me just sit in. The seat belt for the middle passenger is also built into the rear seat back. So when you drop, if you were to fold this down, okay, the seat belt comes down with it, so you don't have that protrusion out here to pull the seat belt down to a secondary buckle and then only buckle it up. Okay, now let's just sit in. I believe the driver's seat here is not adjusted, is moved quite far back, but in terms of headroom, yeah, it's pretty good. And I like the fact that, okay, so you see here they have a sunroof here, okay, but what they have done is they have very thoughtfully curved this up to free up extra headroom for the rear passenger. So that's very thoughtful, very thoughtful of Mazda to do that. The seats, well, I'm not going to comment about leg room first because I think the driver's seat is adjusted too far back. But in terms of thigh support, the seat angle, the seat cushion angle is it's nicely angled, but could do with a bit more depth. And interestingly, you've got rear aircon vents here, your rear aircon vents here, and this dash panel architecture. This is straight out from the Mazda 3. Okay, which is to say that all the comments on the dashboards, ergonomics, plushness, materials, whatever that we have said about the Mazda 3, it applies here as well. Now, please forgive those stickers there. You remove them, underneath it will be, well, nicer looking trim elements. I believe under here is all the gloss black trim, but I'll just go in front to get a closer look. Right. Okay, so we are very far back. So this is the instrument cluster straight out from the Mazda 3 as well. You've got the center section here is a screen, but got proper analog dials either side. All right, and yep. So now I've adjusted this, the front seats forward. No key inside here, so I can't show you the functions of the dashboard just yet. But hey, you can see here you've got what you call it, adaptive cruise control. Okay, so this the high spec versions of the CX-30 do come with the latest i-ActivSense adaptive cruise control here, and yep, blind spot warning, got auto braking, the lot. Okay, the middle here you see this is a tray, this is a storage tray, rubberized so things don't slip about here. Open this up, this spring loaded lid, there's two cup holders here. Okay, also the bottom is rubberized, and this is the center console box straight out from the Mazda 3. You have to slide it back before you can open it. Okay, inside there it's a nice decently sized bin. You can reconfigure the partition this way, but that's about it. You got one USB port in there and a 12-volt socket. Close this, slide forward. Okay, let me just see as well. This is the glove box, and so once again, comments on the rear aircon vents. When I first checked out the Mazda 3, I commented that this configuration of the aircon vents, I have expressed some concern with regards to the rear passengers, but having sat in at the rear of the Mazda 3 1.5, I do have to clarify that in that setting, I found the air conditioning to be surprisingly sufficient. All right, so I believe the CX-30 would fare just as well, and plus this one has actual rear air con blowers, so even less to worry about. Okay, as usual, as we've observed with the Mazda 3, the selection of materials here absolutely top notch, fantastic. Well justifies the price, and I appreciate that they actually specify a two-tone color, so it brings out the design of the dashboard. Very nice, nice minimalist design as we've seen with the Mazda 3. So no surprises, but not that we need any, because the Mazda 3 was already a well-built car to start with. Building the SUV of that same to that same level of quality, is that's not gonna turn out any much too badly. Okay, so you can see here a design trademark of the new generation new SkyActiv 7 generation is this clamshell bonnet design. Okay, you can see this, the bonnet actually flows in one shut line. If you compare to the CX-5 and the CX-3 here, the bonnet actually comes all the way down to the headlamps. Okay, it sort of terminates quite abruptly here. Okay, and it continues to the bumper. Over here, it is a one single, uniform shut line. Okay, yeah. So you can see here, this one has this one being the high spec model. You get the signature LED headlights there. The base model also has LEDs, but you get the halogen bulb type position lamps, daytime running lights. Okay, 18-inch alloy wheels. They don't look oversized, they look just size wise, they look just nice for the car. And here you have it. Okay, so at the rear, the rear actually looks rather, the rear has quite a bit of bulk here, but not excessive, so it still looks proportionate. Okay, right for its size. Okay, now here's the diesel model. I'm just going to walk over there to check out the petrol version. Okay guys, so earlier we have seen the diesel model. This here is the petrol, the 2-liter petrol high spec. Features wise, it's the same as the one as the diesel car that we saw inside earlier. All right, so you got signature LED headlamps. You've got Mazda i-ActivSense here. This is the radar module, camera module up there. You've got sunroof, keyless entry is only on the front doors. Okay, you do get powered tailgate. All right, and inside, let me just close the tailgate first. So here's the reverse camera. Let me just show you the reverse camera. Very, very good clarity. Okay, I think it's definitely better than earlier generation, the previous gen models. All right, it's almost crisp clear. All right, we come inside under the shade, and let me just show you this. Okay, so you can see closely this trim piece here. This is not gloss black trim. There is actually some pattern underneath the shiny surface. Okay, it looks sort of like a carbon fiber trim, but it actually isn't. But still, it's a nice effect. Still stains quite easily though. All right. Just get a cloth in handy here. All right. So this is the infotainment screen. As we knew with the Mazda 3 here, they've disabled the touch function entirely. Previous gen, what you call it? The previous gen screen, they enable touch function when the car is stationary. So when the car is moving, you can't activate the touch function. But here, this new one, they've disabled touch entirely. They've decided to move all the interface back to the knob and shortcut buttons here. All right. I would say that as I've commented with the Mazda 3, the new interface, it's slick. All right, it's slick. It looks premium, and the understated color combination surely it adds to that feeling of sophistication to it. All right, so here you can see here the instrument panel in all its glory. So yeah, you can see the screen there in action. All right, info, and you can alternate between different display modes. All right, same as the Mazda 3. Yeah, so here quality is absolutely fantastic. It definitely is up there to challenge the big boys in the premium segment. Okay. So now actually getting a chance to test. Uyo, malanya we.
呢個係嗰個
Oh,
SCBS。
the SC 當到個triplet 當到個 sensor 係咪？ Alright, so yeah, these cars on trade plates, and that was the auto braking system in action.
即係 P。
Okay, yeah, it's probably triggered by the hanging trade plate.